My goodness. Let's turn that down a little bit. My goodness, it has been a heck of a time. It was a 15-minute change to do the hardware. And then I found out that it just seems to be the machine, as fun as it is to be able to play games on the system, and as good of a system as it seems to be just to play in general, it doesn't cooperate with the capture card. It doesn't cooperate with the GPU. I do still think, I did do the hardware switch, I do still think the new GPU gets way too hot, way too quick. It's a brand new GPU, but it just gets really, really hot. So I'm not going to use it, just to not run the risk of burning down my whole system. But I think we finally got it fixed. I've done some more testing, and it seems to be doing okay. I'm going to really be sad if this doesn't work, because I'm going to let you know right now, not only did I completely overhaul the hardware, not only did I update all of the software and drivers, not only did I come back in with I'm playing this game in an entirely different way than the system I was using prior. It's still on hardware, I'll tell you that, but it's different, completely different hardware. I was using a Retron, or I was trying to use a Retron because I wanted to see how I could get the best quality Sega Genesis games. Look at, best quality Sega games and kind of do some testing on some of these, upscaled thises and that's. And Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the fastest ones, and I thought maybe this is going to be the one to stress test it because it goes fast. It sure did. I couldn't get capture to not stutter. I can't guarantee this isn't going to stutter, but my tests prior to going live showed that I was able to have no more than 1 or 2 frames dropped for every about 18,000. That is a far more than acceptable rate. Nobody's really going to notice a frame drop from 60 to 59 over the course of 18,000 frames. I think that's probably going to do fine. So I want to test this. It's going to be a quick stream. It's going to be something simple. Oh, I say that. This has been one of the most intensive streams ever. I can make 4K Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the game that came out in 2023, work at 60 frames per second fairly consistently. I can't get Sonic the Hedgehog to run more than 30 frames, which of course it is a 60 FPS game, but I couldn't get it to run 30 frames consistently. It's just fun. So let's go ahead and move over. And we're going to cross our fingers. I am. I'm going to cross my fingers that this works. Actually, before I do that, I probably need to check and make sure that my controller works, because my controller buttons were, it's a Genesis controller. They get a little, they're not sticky, so to speak, but it's, you know, it doesn't always work, the most famously. So let me make sure. Okay, I think they feel like they work pretty well. Okay. We're going to try and do this. We're going to try and do this. I'm going to be really sad if this doesn't work. Okay, transition struggled a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. Okay. It looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. I'm not too unhappy. The transition was a little shaky. I don't really care. That's not that big of a deal. So, it was just really this. I'm going to transition back real quick. And back. Okay, so it was just, yeah, no problem. Okay, for anybody who doesn't know this game, I am going to try and be quick about it. It does have, I am playing this on Genesis Plus. I'm going to show you that right now. I am playing it on Genesis Plus. This is, I do own the cartridge, I do own the thing, but this is how I had to make it work. This is how I had to make it work. I am playing with an actual Genesis controller, but I'm actually playing this on a Wii U. Let me move over to the fireside chat while I adjust some settings, because I don't want to bore you with these settings. Let's do this. Let's do that. Whoops. Let's try this again. And can I hit this button for that? Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay. So if you're curious as to why there we go. I'm going to show you this real quick. We're going to go ahead. If I fail, this is me. If I fail, we're going to use the level select cheat just because I want to see. I just want to make sure this works and looks okay. The reason I'm using this, so just to tell you, so I own this game. I've owned this game since it came out pretty well. The reason I'm using that emulator is because I tried using my cartridge on the Retron, and I tried to do it on the CDX, and it was just not working out for me at all. And so I thought, well, this is probably the best way to do it. And what it does is I am actually playing with a Genesis controller. Get that bubble. I am actually playing with a Genesis controller. I have an adapter that plugs Genesis controller into Wii Wand. The Wii Wand is synchronized with the Wii U. As a result, I can use an original Genesis controller, and I get the whole Sega experience, but this is how I make it work on the streaming for you. Uh-oh. I mean, it's the only way I could get it to work. Anybody who wants to go, emulation bad, it's the only way I could get the thing to stream. I'm sorry. Well, if I get... Yeah, I'm gonna get a 1-up. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. I almost didn't make it into the big ring. You have to have 30 rings to get through a chance to get the Chaos Emeralds. Probably not going to get the Chaos Emeralds. I may not even pass the whole game. We're just trying to test things. Well, we're not going to do it there. I fell. It was on the left-hand side there. This does allow me to do it in HD, though, and it does guarantee the best... so I'm actually on an HDMI connection, right? Because the Wii U is HDMI. And it feels really... I mean, it feels exactly like what it feels like on the Genesis. Whoops. It feels exactly... The rolly thing wasn't here at this point, so you kind of have to... Where you... The little pump where you go down and pump the button didn't exist yet. You can do this, but then you have to be in motion. But anyway, it feels good in terms of like it feels like Sonic the Hedgehog did. There we go. It feels like Sonic the Hedgehog did feel with on the original hardware. It just looks better. I really like this game, though. Is it perfect? No. And I'm playing on a almost 40-year-old controller. So, I guess a 30... Well, Sonic the Hedgehog's only been out since 91, I believe, this version at least. But I believe the Sega came out in 89. So that's, 26 years? 26 years, I think. And I'm playing on a 26-year-old controller that I don't think was probably made to last 26 years, but it seems to be doing okay. Okay, so we go straight to the second one. I have to remember where these were always so frustrating to me because it's very difficult to just figure out where the Chaos Emerald is. Now, come on. The way these work, if you've never played... there it is. If you've never played, the way this works is you have to get through to the emerald. So like here... Well, now that I'm in here, it's a little bit more protected. But the direction will change. And I have to kind of hang on until it rotates. Oh, really? I hit the R. The R changes the direction. It was a reverse direction. It's fine. It's just, I didn't want to do that there, but that's okay. There it is. And there's the emerald. We got it. Thank goodness. How many, what are there, 7 Chaos Emeralds, I guess? I missed that first one. So, we'll see what happens. We're going to try and just kind of blitz through it, but no guarantee. There is something called Labyrinth Zone, and there's no blitzing through that. That thing is frustrating. I think it's frustrating. It is intentionally circuitous. I mean, obviously the name is Labyrinth Zone. There we go. We got superpower. We got a bubble. I thought this was a really cool concept. So this, again, this comes out around the time that Super Mario World comes out. And I wasn't a bigger fan of Sega than Nintendo or whatever. They both did things differently that I really liked. I tried to avoid that. I knew it was coming. They both did things separately that I really enjoyed. One was that Mario and Sonic didn't feel the same. Mario felt like something that you kind of had, some speed to, but for the most part, it was about gear. You kind of had to go back and take a look at, let me see if I can do this. You can, if you're going fast enough, I'm going to see if I can. I need to get the... How do I do the spin? Okay, you can break that wall, but I'm just going to go up, I guess. Mario felt like something you kind of had to gear... It wasn't RPG-esque, but it felt like something you kind of had to gear up for. Whereas this literally felt just like you kind of got to go decently fast within the parameters you're given. There are ways to die if you're in the... Like, for example, if I had the superpower, these spikes wouldn't kill me. Oops. But if I fell, if you can see where that last spike is, if I fell in between that last spike where there's 0 ground and I landed underneath this green ground, it'll kill you no matter what, because you can't do that, right? So even with a superpower, that will kill you. Let's see, is that going to give me 90? And if I get another 10, if I can get another 10 here, that'll give me... I'm not going to get the other 10, am I? Nope. That's going to give me my another 1-up, but that's okay. Boss fight. We'll see which direction he goes first. He'll probably come my way. Yep. I also thought it was really cool that they would use like these pseudo 3D effects. I mean, honestly, the little ball is just the wrapped palette of the distorted and wrapped palette of the ground. But I thought it was kind of cool. And Sonic tried to start off by being this, this kind of edgier, here, I'll come over here. This kind of edgier, graphically edgier thing, especially when you look at the word Sonic, which is technically, I think, an example of skeuomorphism, which is something that tries to kind of make itself look like it's reflecting a real-life something. It's kind of making itself look like it reflected a real-life desert mountain ridge. It was super popular in the 90s and 2000s to have the reflection of like desert mountains and such. Some company logos, specifically for sports companies even, had that kind of skeuomorphism. I think this also, to me, I feel like Altered Beast just reused this. This feels like the Rise from Your Grave moment of Altered Beast. Is it Altered Beast I'm thinking? I think it's Altered Beast, yeah. To me, I think that's where they either they were heavily inspired by this, or either they were heavily inspired by this, or they just directly ripped it. You have to hit his head, you can't hit any of the spikes. The other thing is you have to be on the little ball. I don't know how many people haven't played Sonic the Hedgehog. If you are someone who grew up with... I'm going to get there's a thing down here. If you are someone who grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, such as 06, or Colors isn't bad, but you grew up with, Unleashed or something like that, go back and play this if you get a chance. I think they've released collections. I think they've released collections for all major platforms, which has this and the next 2 games. I think it even has the Game Gear games. Go get this. It's fun. In most places, it's not very expensive. I don't think it's the full $60. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't believe it's the full $60. And I would say for a couple bucks, these are really fun games. The music's pretty good too. Admittedly, I think Marble Zone is several people's, let's say this, least favorite world, but I actually don't mind it. It's not my favorite. I don't mind it. There's also an error. I think this is fun. There's also an error on this game, and it's me picking out little random things. The error on this game is that in the way that you experience the levels, if you play the game like normal, is not the same as as experiencing the levels. These will crush you, by the way, not the ones that do fall. Anyway, when you bring up, whenever you go to the main menu, when Sonic is wagging a finger at you, you can go into a mission select or level select, board select, whatever you want to call it. You can go into a select menu, which is what we'll use if we don't do very well. If I fail, I'm just going to load it to the next level because this is mostly a test. And but anyway, it was in the... I knew that was going to happen too. There's one here too, and it goes higher. Let me pause real quick. I got a message. One of the things that happens though is when you go into the level select or the board select of the game, It's, I think Starlight Zone and Spring Yard Zone are reversed from the way that you actually experience them when you play the game normally. I don't know why that is. Starlight Zone is my favorite. The big ring appears if you have 30. I think I said that, but 30 rings necessary to get one of these shots at getting a Chaos Emerald. I think there, like I said, I think there are 7. If I get a chance at the first one again, I don't think I do. I think I literally have to... That's not there. You don't want to hit the goals. Oh, I hate this. I hate... Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's reverse it. It's fine. They put them in the easiest places to fall. So it's very... Oh, no! See, for example, it's what right there. I don't want to hit that. Okay, I don't want that, though. Let's let it keep going. I kind of like the way... Is it Sonic 2? I kind of like the way Sonic 2 did it better. There we go. There we go. There we go. Come on, come on, come on. Make some work. Make some work. Oh, no, don't. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Surviving this long has given me... That little guy is a... No. I'm gonna get a little grumpy Sonic. He's, I'm gonna... Ooh, can I attack it from both sides? Come on. I mean, look how close we are. Come on. That little noise is going to give me a little... I always liked him. It's a little grumpy Sonic. Basically, it's a little tiny Sonic that tells me I got an extra life because I did well in here. No. You're basically playing high stakes pinball. Okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Just stay, Sonic. Yeah, we're just gonna fall into it and get it. There it is. That's it. Whew. They get more and more difficult. Again, I like the way that 2 did it better, where it was like jumping over the little thing. See, there's my little grumpy Sonic. He's like, yeah, you get another continue. I don't know why. I think it's because of the length of time you survive, but I don't know. But I like the little... He's tapping his foot. Also, if you're wondering why the time... So, some people who've not played this are... Oh, the time's counting up. How would you get hurt with the time counting up? Sonic is all about going fast. If any board takes you longer than 10 minutes, that's a loss. So you automatically lose if a board takes you 10 minutes longer than 10 minutes. Good lord. Well, this is gonna suck. Okay, I'll make it. I need to be over here to the side. There we go. There we go. There's some spikes up here, I think. Yep. We're just gonna push up against them. I like the music. I really think the music's good. I know that everybody... I think the kind of more commonly known thing is that a lot of the music for the second and third were Michael Jackson written or inspired. Not all of them are, though. Ice Cap Zone's a great example of that. That song is the Jetsons' Hard Times, which was, I believe, unreleased up until relatively recently. Are you kidding me? Dumb little worm. That's the Jetsons. Jetsons being Jetzone. Hard Times. And if you want to hear a great 80s song, 80s-esque song, listen to that song. That song's really good. I mean, it's Ice Cap Zone without all the foreground music, so... Okay, this one's tricky because if you don't make it, it's going to push you up there, but if I remember correctly, if you don't make the jump, you have to land on a block that just takes you all the way back. Not achieving anything, basically. There we go. If anybody's curious as to why I'm super gung-ho on game preservation via appropriate emulation, which is to say being able to emulate on powerful emulators games that you already own, it's because, as you were able to witness over these past 4 failed streams. Let me do this real quick. Over these past 4 failed streams, I could not get my original cartridge to play. It was not the cartridge. Let's do this real quick. There we go. Whoa. So yeah, if you're curious, hold on. If anyone's curious as to why my advocacy, my absolutely staunch advocacy for there we go. I'm trying to get things situated. Anyway, if anyone is curious as to why I am such a big advocate of being able to emulate games that you own legally, it's because sometimes when you try to play it on hardware, especially when you're trying to put something up on the internet for a frame of reference or as a forum or as for educational, you could literally call this educational at this point, because there are people who weren't of age. There are people that are fully grown adults that this game had existed for decades prior. Think about this. It's 2025. You could have been born in 2017. No, I'm wrong. That's wrong. I'm sorry. You could have been not 2017. My goodness. You could have been born in 2007. And because you were born in 2000, and if you were born in 2005, you'd be 20, right? So, so 20. You could be born in 07, be a fully grown adult, and this game had been out for since 91. So it's for posterity and for history in a lot of cases, actually, because these kids wouldn't have known otherwise. You can do that, but I think I'm just gonna cheese it. They put that there, dominant strategy. But anyway, that's kind of part of the reason. That's kind of part of the reason that it's here. Is if you could have been born in 2000 again, you could have been born in 2007. Born in 2007, you're a fully fledged 18-year-old adult, and this game had been out, for 15 years already. So it's like, my goodness. Okay, we're gonna try this labyrinthian one. Luckily they didn't put a goal just right back there, otherwise I would have been really upset. So you can kind of see how I'm fighting against the gravity of it too. I'm trying not to hit R's. If I need it to go that direction, I'm trying to avoid the R's. Okay, this is fine. I need it to keep going this way. I saw where the goal was. But it's very, very hard to control. Hey. Okay, that was a goal. That was a goal. There we go, we made it. Okay, that's a goal. No. Okay. It's so bleeding difficult. It's okay, I've kind of gotten myself nestled here a little bit. So long as I can kind of keep... That's the strategy. Is just kind of come in and then like nestle myself. There we go, we got the green one. To kind of nestle myself in until the map rotates around again. I think there are 7 Chaos Emeralds. I already missed the first one. I'm hoping, I don't know for a fact, I'm hoping it'll loop around so that I can go back to trying to get that one. There's my little grumpy Sonic again for continue. So I've got 2 continues and I've got 4 lives right now. So not bad. Okay, obviously we won't get a chance at a Chaos Emerald this time. It's a boss fight. 3rd round of all. This is kind of where I really like the formulaic nature of retro games, because this was kind of where it came from. Hey man, got the stream working, I see. Thank goodness I did too. I mean, it was such a headache. As I showed off, I had to. So I was trying to play on hardware on a cartridge. This is an emulator on the Wii U that I knew that was going to happen. It's okay, I can't get 30 rings aren't necessary. This is an emulator on the Wii U that I'm actually able to use an original Genesis controller with because I have adapters for Wiimote to Wiimote to Sega Genesis controllers, what I mean to say. This is why I'm such a big advocate of being able to emulate games that you legally own. I couldn't have put this stream up for posterity or for historical reference or anything, video game history, if I weren't allowed to emulate. Because I tried to do it as cleanly as I could on hardware, on newer hardware, and it wasn't working. And I'm trying to save... I have a CDX. That's what I had been playing on. Whoa, we'll do that. CDX is what I had been playing on, but the CDX is like $1,000 for a CDX, and they're very hard to find. And ours is old, and I really don't want to run the risk of damaging ours further because ours is starting to get, so $1,000 for a CDX, great console, well worth it, but also possibly to be lost to history soon. If I remember correctly, every other step, yep. Gonna hit the, yep, I knew I was gonna, it's okay, again, we're on the 3rd level. There's no chance at a Chaos Emerald here. 3rd levels don't give you a chance at a Chaos Emerald at all. The 3rd, with exception to the final boss, 3rd board of a level is always gonna be a boss fight. But yeah, I wanted to play the Mega Drive or the Genesis. We call it the Genesis. This is where I talk about I wish Sega would make a new cartridge-based console. It doesn't need to be like the Nintendo Switch or anything. I'm fine with it being just a regular old plug-in with a long cable controller console. I would absolutely play more Sega. Again, we've made jokes about other, biblical names basically with it, Sega Exodus, I think, but Exodus meaning to exit, probably not the ideal name. You use other biblical names. Genesis just means a beginning, right? I mean, if you decided to call it another biblical name, you could really get wonky with it. Can you imagine something called the Sega Deuteronomy? Yeah. Okay, kind of got to be careful there, because you can get hit by the spikes, but you can also just be crushed between the... You can also just be crushed, Alright, I think it's still every other step, so we should still be fine. Again, I am playing this game I have not played this game all the way through in a very long time. That's fine. I am playing this with an original 30-plus-year-old controller. So the buttons, you got to push pretty hard on these buttons. And then I will tell you also, one of the common things of this time, didn't matter what your age was there were two real common things. No matter what your age was, whether you were an adult, whether you were a kid. You either did one of two things. You either leaned your body in the direction that you wanted to steer a character, especially when moving at high speeds, or you pushed really hard on a button, expecting button sensitivity, which wouldn't come along until, I think, PlayStation 1. I believe PlayStation 1 was the first people to be able to differentiate a half press from a full press of a button. Gonna play by a simple rule, which is if it doesn't exist on the screen, it doesn't exist. I think one of the major complaints, and I've watched Game Grumps for a long time. I don't know why. I think one of the major I know why the complaint. I meant I don't know why I did that. I think one of the major complaints for Aaron, who's on record as not being the most enthusiastic on Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, he's going to go ahead and do it to that one. This is if I remember correctly, this is a fairly easy fight. It's just this, bang, and then they all dissipate well in time for me to make it over to the other platform. Again, I still think this... Look at the trees back there. I still think this is a reuse for the... I think Altered Beast reused this. There we go. Boom. I love it. I love it. I love it. The little guys, aren't they cute? So Aaron Hansen, I think, has gone on record as kind of saying that he enjoys Sonic because I guess he got in trouble with Sega a long time ago. So in the level select, you actually go to Starlight Zone next, but Spring Yard Zone is the one you actually go to. Spring Yard Zone's awesome, by the way. I think he got in trouble because I think Sega actually had him as a spokesperson for a time, and then it was brought to their attention that he had said some things about about Sonic that they weren't keen on. And I think he's kind of gone on record as being like, I don't care for the Sonic games all that much, or I don't care for Sonic all that much, which is a shame. I think Sonic is awesome. I get his point, but I think Sonic's awesome. Shoot. I need 30 rings on this, though, because there was no way. But he makes... I will say he makes... Where I don't agree with him, I do like Sonic. He does make Aaron makes a valid point. Which is more than I can say for him on Castlevania, what he said about Castlevania. And I know that was for comedy. But he says that this is a game about going fast, but there are a lot of obstacles that prevent you from going fast. Keep in mind right now, I'm on an elevator. the thing that you usually put into a comedy skit as something that slows you down substantially. So I completely get his point when it comes to that. It doesn't temper my enjoyment of Sonic, but I do understand what he was talking about in that regard. We'll try and get these rings. I need 30 again, so we're gonna... It's hard to get out of this without getting hit. Yep, like that, because I couldn't jump. No. It's very difficult to jump. There we go. We'll just leave those rings alone. We'll get rings later. We've got a couple of levels to collect, so we're gonna be okay. Yeah, I was gonna say his Castlevania critique. Oof, his Castlevania critique I thought was a little silly because he talks about you can't. I forget, you have to be in the ball. That's the rule. That's literally the one rule. his Castlevania 4 critique was that he didn't like it as much because it took away they maintained the convention of the sub-weapon. And again, I don't know why I haven't spoken on this. I've seen these videos when they came out. But I thought, you know what, why not? He said that he didn't like that they... he didn't like that they maintained the sub-weapon conventions. Oof. I gotta try to do this. It's so difficult to get the freaking... There we go. That's all I wanted. I didn't have... There's no way I was gonna have 30 rings in time. I haven't played the early Sonic games in so long. They're good. I think this one is the best one. A lot of people disagree and they think it's 3. I think it's this one. Do what you will. They're fun. They're always... I think they're worth a visit. They redid them recently. I was saying. I believe PS5, Xbox, and Switch all got like a classic Sonic collection pack where it's not remastered, like it's different graphics, but I think they remastered the compatibility to optimize the frame rate. And honestly, they're super fun. I highly recommend them. One of the consoles that I don't believe gets nearly as much love as it probably should get is the Sega Master System. I mean, not Master System, I'm sorry. The Genesis / Mega Drive. The Master System doesn't get a lot of love either, but that game, apart from like Fantasy Zone, I can't think of very many games that I really love on it. Just that and maybe the Alex Kidd game. I kind of like the Alex Kidd game. It's very difficult to know where you can hit these guys. You know you're not supposed to jump on the back, but apparently you can hit them at the very front. But anyway, his Castlevania critique, I'm sorry, said he didn't like the fact that they had stuck to the tradition because they had made the whip so powerful with being able to whip in 8 directions that there's a secret there. There it is. That they had made the whip so powerful because you could whip in 8 directions and hold the whip out and so on and so forth. He didn't think that it was necessary for them to retain the convention of the... I got stuck. That was actually a glitch right there. That's great. I love that. Of the sub-weapons. I disagree. The first boss, which is a skeleton rider on a skeletal horse, I always use the knife. That's what you're going to have if you play the game, if you play that part optimally. I always use... the knife is what I use as my dominant way of killing that boss. The skull with the long prehensile tongue, I use my sub-weapon like crazy to try and to hammer him down, because he always... I mean, it's hard to avoid getting hit by him. So, I get what he's saying. The whip is definitely better than it is in previous... I couldn't... There we go. I agree that the whip is better, but than it was, but I don't think it gets rid of the necessity for sub-weapons, because I do still use the heck out of the sub-weapon. Here we go. Oh, they put the ring low for me too, thank goodness. I don't know that I'll get it. This might be my first fail, because these things get progressively more difficult. Substantially, by the way. More difficult. Hit the R again, turn it around, come on. The reason I don't like these as much as the ones the way that they did it in 2 is it's also the labyrinth. It's also determining what direction you even need to go in the first place. So like obviously I know I don't need to go back the way I came, but I also don't know if I go left, I could just get stuck in a goal like that right there. So see, look, I'm backtracked all the way back to the very beginning because of one mess up. And then they kind of facetiously put goal on the place you're not meant to actually go. Like again, it's flashing red. It's going to attract your attention. I need you to not do this. R button. Okay. We're looking for the peppermints basically that are translucent. So I don't know. Are they down here? They are. Okay. And this is kind of my strategy, is just kind of nest myself there. Don't! I hit it! Oh my gosh, that's frustrating. It's not that bad. I could have done better. I got to continue out of it. There's 7 Chaos Emeralds. So for every... You get a chance for every level you get... For every... The first 2 of the 3 boards, except for the final boss, you know... I'm not going to get a chance here in Act 3. My next chance will be Starlight Zone 1. Even if I have 30 rings here, it's just because it's the boss fight. Yeah, I highly recommend this. And I was making this point earlier, Ash, if you happen to still be here. You could be born... A person born in... I hope I'm going the right direction. A person born in... No, not really. Not really. Don't... Okay, thank goodness. I was like, oh, man. A person born in 2007 is, depending on the month, obviously, 18 years old right now. Which is going to sound crazy to us because several of us were adults with jobs at that time. You know, that sounds crazy. Kind of is. But the point being is this game probably wasn't on that radar because you have to think 2007, the new consoles were the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Those are the consoles that these guys grew up with. Whereas people like myself and perhaps several of the people that come in here and converse with me, this was like their second or third or fourth console. Again, I started off with Atari 2600 and Pong, and then I came to the Nintendo Entertainment System with the original Mario Bros. And Battle Chess by Data East and Tetris, and then I went to Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis kind of at the same time, roughly. I mean, obviously they came out roughly the same time, so that would make sense, I suppose. I should have beat it, because I think there's a bonus beyond it, but that's okay. I could technically just despawn it, I suppose, but not that big of a deal. So I think for this is where, and I guess I'm going to draw the distinction, and this is why I talk about emulation. So I want to talk about the differences between piracy and emulation in terms of the way. I don't think legally anyone's going to define them this way, or maybe they will. I don't know. This is the way that I see it, though, and legal or not, it's not going to change my mind. We need to be able to preserve video games as art. And I think we're rapidly losing the ability to do that with ownerships being made largely digital and agreements being the agreements that a person's purchase is a license to play, not a label of ownership. And again, I own this cartridge. I've owned this cartridge for getting close to 40 years, right? I should be able to play, even though I bought this, even though I got this, that long ago. I should still have the right to play this 40 years later. If Sega is sitting there going, "Well, we're upset. We don't feel like have gotten enough money out of you." I'm about to get. If I can get 2 more rings, I'm not going to get real haughty about it. But if I can get 2 more rings, I'll get another 1-up also. We got another guy. But anyway, it's like even though I got this far away, Sega doesn't have the right. Sega doesn't have the right to keep making money off of this. I'm not gonna get the other 2 rings. Can I get the other 2 rings? Can I go down here? I can get smashed. I gotta be really careful. Oh, are you kidding? Oh my goodness. My overzealousness. I wanted 2 more rings to get an extra life, instead death, and I found no extra life. It's fine, it's not a big deal. That was the boss fight, by the way, where I was. The boss fight, he basically, you have to kill him before I say kill, you have to break his ship. He wasn't Eggman back then, he was Ivo Robotnik. You have to break his ship before he takes the whole floor out from under you. Okay, there we go. Come on. What was I saying? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so anyway, Sega doesn't have the right, or shouldn't have the right, no company should, by the way, have the right to continue to make money off of you for something that they're not putting any effort into maintaining or making new. If I buy this and this is the extent of their efforts on that product, then my purchase of this version of that product should entitle me to be able to play this version of that product at any point in time. Legally, it is that way, right? So I got to be careful here. This one's kind of tough because you do get a finite amount of time to... You do get a finite amount of time to take him out. You kind of have to... I'll come over here. Well, you know, I'll come over here. He's going to spike. I'll come way over here. We'll do this. Way over here. There we go. Good enough. Just have to leave enough... If you don't get him within the amount of blocks that you have, he will pull the entire floor out, and you just lose. Oh yeah, but what I was saying is, I don't think that if this is the extent of their efforts, then to retain this product, then it should be the extent. Then that one purchase should be, it's Labyrinth Zone before Starlight Zone. I love the music, but I hate this. This is the one series of levels I hate because it is intentionally difficult to navigate. That's why they called it Labyrinth Zone. And you have to... This is a system. We're going to hear what a lot of people would call the nightmare music. It's good. I really like the song, though. But anyway, point being is I should have the right to play, or this should entitle me to be able to own and play this version of the game for as long as I possibly can. And I should also have the right to, I believe, make a copy, if they're not going to make any other versions available for me on newer platforms, or they're not going to make it so that I can do things for... I knew I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm going to die. But I want to record stuff like this for posterity's purpose. I want to have this in a way that's as easy for me to record it and show it off, and maybe inform a secondhand purchase of it or whatever. But just to kind of show it off, like this is history, this is art, and I really do believe that. I do believe video games are art. I uncompromisingly believe that, and I believe that we should be able to own stuff that we purchase. So my version of emulation is not emulating something I don't own. It's emulating something that I have had for many years and love and want to be able to play and want to be able to show off. And if Sega wants to make additional... Which, by the way, I'm picking on Sega because that's a game that I'm playing. Sega's actually done a better job of this than a lot of people with the Sega Genesis collections that they've put out almost every generation. And they've also... Because I got air, I wasn't in the ball. There we go. You have to be in a ball to kill. There we are. But the reason I'm not playing one of those collections is because I don't have anything of that sort hooked up in here. I have purchased them. I do own the Sega Genesis for the Switch collection also. Every generation I buy it. I know this is going to sound wonky and silly. Every generation I do buy a Sega collection if they put one out. Because I really love a lot of the... Oh no, I got pulled away from my air bubble. Okay. It's okay, I have one here. We're going to hear the bup. Oh, we didn't hear it. Okay, I got it. I got one in time. We'll get to that point, don't you worry. They become scarce fairly soon. I think it's in Act 2 they start becoming scarce. In Act 1, it's not that bad. One of my reasons for doing the emulation thing, though, is I like playing it on the Genesis controller. And so the emulation version of this allows me to do that, where I guess I could technically do it on Switch if I paid Nintendo the $70 to buy a if I paid Nintendo the $70 to buy a Genesis for the controller for the Switch. That's really expensive for a Sega Genesis controller that the only thing that they've done to it really is put a Bluetooth adapter in it. I mean, this is Nintendo. I like Nintendo. Don't get me wrong. Their business practices recently are questionable, but this is coming from a company who can't even use, considering stick drift was such a big problem, and they chose not to use Hall effect sticks. I'm sitting there going, I should probably be able to use whatever controller I want. The controller you're recommending may not be the actual best option. There we go. So anytime you surface, you also get air automatically. So if I hear the ding, I just have to jump now. Okay, I have 31. This is one of my favorite. This isn't my. I was gonna say this is my favorite. I don't think it is actually my favorite. It is one of my favorite songs. Golly, I hate that. That's the thing. You have the things you need. These ones throw. You have the things you need, and then you hit some random spike that was off screen. I don't hate the game for it. I mean, I get it. It's just part of the strategy. Look, Bowser heads, part of the strategy. But gosh dang it, it's so frustrating. Okay, I gotta make it past those so I don't get crushed. We should make it to the top. Ah, that's fine. God, really? Here, we'll just catch a bubble down here. There we go. You heard the music reset? That means I was about to get the uh-oh, you didn't do it well music. There we go. Okay, so I could have come up that way too. I just wanted to double. That was dangerous. I shouldn't have done that because I know that the sign is over here. I shouldn't have gone and explored on that side. Pause it real quick. I gotta check something. Okay. All right. I couldn't see my speech. I was sitting there going, oh, can anybody even hear me? Have I been doing this whole time completely quiet? I haven't. I can see I changed the font size so that I could read the schematic a little bit easier. And not the schematic, the report a little easier. Okay, so this is, you can get stuck in a loop for, remember, 10 minutes and you lose. You can get stuck in a loop, it's not this one, it's the next one. We're going to end up in a water slide like that. You can literally get stuck in a loop if you don't know what to do for the full of the 10 minutes. It's really silly. I think Superstar Power affords me, I don't think it affords me invulnerability, I think it affords me invulnerability against everything but drowning. I do still believe you can drown in Superstar mode. Wouldn't it be cool if the Superstar mode, though, I don't think that's what it's called. It's what I call it. Wouldn't it be cool if it even protected you from drowning, though? The answer is, if you're not playing this, maybe not. But if you are playing this, absolutely, because you're gonna want that. Okay, I hear the door coming in a minute. The door is where we're basically gonna have to... We get swept through. Yeah. Can I use the edge? No, I'm gonna do this and take him out first, and then I'll use the edge of the trampoline. I wish the bubble... This bubble, I wish this one would keep you from having to get air bubbles. I don't believe it does. It'd be kind of cool if it's like, oh, you trapped air in there, but you didn't. Because that would be ridiculous. I think Sonic was going... that's what I always felt like Sonic was going for, was Apex reality. Like, I knew the minute that I saw that blue hedgehog, I thought, that's what they're doing. They want to be as realistic as possible. Okay, I'm assuming... and that's probably not a good thing, but I'm assuming... this way. Okay, it is this way. Good, 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 good. How long can I stay on the... oh, that was close. Okay. Cool. So we're going to go back underwater again. That's not cool, but oh well. There was a slowing of the music there. I think that was actually just... I don't think that was lag because of the system. I think that was actually... I think that was actually either an object limit lag or something. That didn't feel... I like these little guys. They have some green counterparts that don't throw their spikes at you. But by that same token, they don't make themselves nearly as vulnerable as a result. No! I knew that was gonna happen. Oh well, I got air. I was at 91 rings. I could have gotten the one up. Okay, that lag right there, that slowdown is on my side too. That's just, we hit too many objects. Too many things were happening at the same time. And the more rings you have, the more likely it was going to happen, because what they did do is basically every time you have a ring, whenever you lose however many rings you're holding, you do actually lose that number of rings. Those rings do show up. And because, like any other console, the Sega Genesis had object limits, 100 rings, or in that case I think it was 91 rings coming all out at the same time, creates, plus the guy throwing the 4 individual spikes, plus me being on the screen, creates a huge object bottleneck. It creates a huge object bottleneck for... it creates, yeah, for the system. So you're going to end up with... You're almost always, if you have a lot of rings, if you do well, you're rewarded with object lag. Object limit. Related lag. Okay. Again, remember, we got to be in the ball to hit these guys. So here's the circle. You slide around like this, and I'm going to just show you for a minute. You slide down, and then you just keep sliding like this. And nothing seems to change. What's happening is basically a Super Mario World Bowser Castle moment. You have to break the cycle by coming over here and pushing this button. And you hear something ominously move, but what actually happens is a wall opens right there, which I missed. Didn't mean to do that. It's very hard to catch for me, apparently. I don't remember having this much trouble, but apparently I am. Let's try. Okay. Yeah, I'm having... Why am I having so much trouble? There we go. Okay, now I want to jump over. Really? There we go. Good lord. Alright. And then it closes back up. It doesn't show you it doing that, but it does, so you can't get out. This is the most labyrinthian of Labyrinth Zone. It's also the one where I believe there is the least amount of access to air. By, I think, a fairly substantial margin. There's still air, but I believe it's more scarce, or you can be swept away from it more easily. Or it could have just been that I was getting frustrated at that particular time, and I didn't pay attention. That's also very possible. This is just... again, I like this game. I know there are valid points about having to go quick, or gotta go fast, and we're underwater, jumping, 1/4 of the speed that Sonic goes when he's walking. And with object limits, in this case, those bubbles, or object are causing the problem. Oh! So I was a couple of oh, don't put me at the very beginning, though. That's gonna do it. Golly. I got crushed by this. So I died because I got crushed by the spikes, and apparently there wasn't enough, there weren't enough pixels to allow me to, have my invincibility frames. So I just got crushed. It just killed me automatically. So why am I... It's very difficult to figure out where the point to jump is. We'll try to jump at the very end. That's what we'll do. I think I know. There we go. I think the idea, not the objective. I think the idea is to hit the see, it says it's moved back, but you can't. I think the idea is to hit the back button as you're jumping to get a kind of a springboard effect. We'll do that. You gotta kind of be very careful because we don't have any rings. Normally that wouldn't be a problem. But we got these little spears. And you can't just stand around there. And I don't like to go super deep into the level because the deeper you go, the more difficult it is obviously to get to the surface, and the surface is the ultimate objective. You want to eventually make it to the surface because that's where Robotnik's going to be. Now, in the 90s, there used to be a cartoon for Sonic the Hedgehog also. I don't remember who played the voice of Robotnik back then. I know in more recent efforts it's been... There we go. There we go. I know in more recent Sonic media and efforts, it's been... oh, now I can't even think of his name, and he's one of my favorites. Jim Cummings. There we go. But in the old stuff, I don't believe it was. It was... that's okay. No, it isn't. Oh, no. So, oh, why did I not get any invincibility frames there? I should have had invincibility. There should have been some invincibility frames. Oh, I guess. Well, I guess Sonic doesn't give invincibility frames. Really, does it now? I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, no, I guess it doesn't. Really, after you've hit the thing, you pretty well. That's done. There we go. Okay, so let's consider that the maybe soul failing of Sonic the Hedgehog. No invincibility frames, except for. I mean, I guess kind of, because I'm blinking there, so clearly there's some form of invincibility frame being afforded to me. So I guess it's arbitrary. That's what arbitrary invincibility. I've talked about philosophically how being arbitrary is one of the greatest evils. I guess arbitrary invincibility frames is the same thing. And all of the dogs are going crazy because my wife has gotten home with her food. And anytime anybody's at the door, like good puppies, they tell us. So I'm not actually upset about that. I apologize to you guys, though. Oh, give me that. Really? There's a countdown, if anybody's curious. There's a countdown that comes as a result of that. So it's a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and if you don't get out besides that, you get this... Probably the scariest thing that happens in Sonic. You get his drown screen. So what I can do is I can actually just stand here in the middle of these. And the thing that's supposed to be tricky about them is that they're going different speeds. But that's okay. I'm going to go the roundabout way. Having 30 rings isn't going to matter this time, just because, again, we're on Act 3. So it's a boss fight. But I don't even remember what the boss fight is on this one, because this is the most... I mean, admittedly, this is my most skipped level. This is the most skipped act, board, whatever you want to call it. And it's all right, fine. So long as I've got one, I'm good. Okay, so I don't know why they put an air thing right there, because... I stopped spinning right there. Okay. Again, remember, if you're not spinning, it doesn't count, so that's kind of where I screwed up, is I was supposed to be... I stopped spinning just before I touched him, so because of that, it's almost as if I didn't... Let's grab that real quick. It's almost as if I didn't at all. This is the part that this reminds me of the most, if I were going to look at forward games that kind of took this cue, is when you're playing Banjo-Kazooie, specifically in Clanker's Cavern, and you have to follow Gloop around if you're not super fast. It's the best place to take a death if you can fly through the key fast enough. But you have to kind of follow Gloop around, and you have to breathe in his air bubbles if you want to survive. I knew that was going to happen, because I hit the frickin' thing. That's alright. We'll get air first, and we'll get a bubble next, because... Air, and then bubble shield. And then air again, because why not? I was already on the way. But when you have to fly around, I don't know why it was such a big deal, but you have to, when you're doing Clanker's Cavern and you're unlocking the secrets, one of the secrets is unlocking Clanker from his chain, which is way down below, and you have to fly, you have to swim through the key. I'm probably going to get the music here in a second. There we go. You have to go through Clanker's Key 3 times, and it's kind of difficult to do. And because of that, you have to stay down there. There's a random aquatic friend who's breathing out air, who's breathing out bubbles, and you breathe in his bubbles, gives you 2 air honeycombs. I don't know why everybody decided it was just a great idea. That was what they were going to do, is, oh, you need to catch the bubble or you're going to suffocate, you're going to drown, you're going to... But they definitely went that way. I know a game I really want to play on here too. There's another retro game I really would love to play. Pilot Wings 64. Well, I screwed up. There we go. I was going to be like, all right, if the water doesn't come back down, I'm cooked. Dun, 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 dun. And I think in this case, I am actually just out climbing the water. The question is, am I actually making it to Robotnik now? Is this where I am? I have continues, if not, so I'm fine. I think I might be actually climbing to the Robotnik fight. I am, and I don't remember what the Robotnik fight is. Is it just me climbing? And oh, it is. I hate these. He doesn't have a rebreather mask on. Okay, you got me before I drown. That's gonna put me a game over, but I have a continue. I have 2 continues. Don't start me all the way over, though. Oh, it's gonna start me all the way over. Okay, again, this is one of my absolute... This is one of my absolute least favorite... This is my absolute least favorite board. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Blue Hedgehog Man 17 says, "What are you playing this on? Good evening, fellow Sonic fan here." Yeah, so I tried for the longest time to play my original. So bearing in mind, I've been a Sonic fan for... Well, we're getting to... I've had this the copy of this game for 34, almost 35 years. There we go. I tried to play it on, so I have a CDX. That's usually what my default was, or my attempted default was. Could not get it to work in terms of capture. I tried then to use a Mega Retron. That I could not get to work. So this is actually being played on an emulator on the Wii U that I'm still able to use a Genesis controller on. So I'm using my 35-year-old Genesis controller, or my 37-year-old Genesis controller, 36 years old. I'm using my 36-year-old Genesis controller, but I'm playing it on that because it was the only way I could get it to capture. When I play it recreationally, though, I would prefer to play it on the CDX, but CDXs are getting expensive and hard to find, so I am getting away, I guess, a little bit from playing on that, because I don't want to not have it anymore and then it just lose that wonderful piece of Sega history. But yeah, I appreciate you for asking. For some people, and it may be for you also, that might be blasphemy, but sometimes that's just what works. In this case, that's exactly what that was. This is just what worked. But I do want to... I mean, I like playing on a Sega controller. Sega controllers had this really satisfying, like, click. The D-pad wasn't a good D-pad, let's be clear. But I really enjoyed it anyway. So you're playing the... Yes, yeah, I'm using that currently. Again, I wouldn't normally. I have a Genesis... I have Genesis... I have several Genesis. I have a Genesis Model 1, Model 2, and, again, the CD... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And the CDX. But the Model 1 and Model 2s are obviously hard to capture off of. Model 1s especially because of the little... not proprietary phono connector they had, but I have adapters to plug in a Sega Genesis controller to my Wii one, so I'm actually playing this I'm playing the same game I would have played in a different way, but I am playing it with the same controller I played it with over 30 years ago. Boop. Because that is just the way I like to play things. Okay, good. Yeah, I was saying. Come on. There we go. Yeah, so I'm using the same controller. I'm a creature of habit in that way. I really, really like to play the games on the original controller, with the original controller. If I can't play it on the original hardware, I want to play it. I want to be able to play it on the original with the original controller. I'm surprised you didn't actually download this on the Wii Virtual Console when it was available. No, a lot of reason being is at that time, when the Wii was there, I was still really... I wasn't streaming. I wasn't doing any of that. I have it on the Switch, I have it on the Xbox 360, and I have it on the PlayStation 3. the Wii Virtual Console wasn't really a go-to for me because I had a lot of the physical media. And when I'm naming all of those previous ones, I am naming physical media. These, I'm naming discs and cartridges. Not to mention my, obviously, still complete in-box, the copy I had from 91. So I was like, you know what, I don't... And so I was very much a physical media person at that time. I've only, as a matter of fact, I've only recently started making peace with digital. And only recently started making... not making peace with, I still hate digital, let's be clear. But I've only started kind of acclimating to being able to use digital and figure out where it's appropriate, as well as stream. I guess I've been streaming for about 10 years, but... or not streaming. I guess I've been streaming for 5 years, but I've been doing making internet content. Well, really? That's... not publishing it, but making it before publishing for almost 10 years now. Whoops. So it's, I don't know. But I'm very, and I have been for a long time, I still kind of am very not pro-digital. I don't like digital very much. And I didn't like digital back then. I still don't like it now. But I tried so hard to get mine to actually work, streaming it, and I couldn't for the life of me get it to work. Let me see. When you say you have this on Switch, do you mean the Origins of the Sega Genesis Collection, also for the PS4 and the Xbox One? Yes, yeah. Yes, I actually have two copies of the Sega Genesis Collection, not Origins, I'm sorry. Origins I have for the Xbox. Okay, we're going to try this again. If not, I'm going to skip this bleeding board because this is my least favorite board in the whole bleeding game. For reasons a lot like that. Come on. I know. Ah, my gosh. This is why this is my least favorite board in the whole game. This boss fight. It's supposed to be... the idea is to get it before the water gets there, obviously. But it's not exactly... let's not say it's it. Let's say me. I'm not exactly precision honed on this like I should be. So we're going to try and hit it, but we still have to make it to the top regardless. And the idea is to take the least circuitous or the path of fewer obstacles, but that is incredibly difficult to do. Yeah, oof. Absolutely detest this board. I'll try one more continue, and if not, I'm gonna go straight to uh-oh, what happened? Let me switch that back. I apologize. I hit the button by mistake. I don't have any Sega Genesis collection, sadly, but I have this on Origins and also the Mega Collection. Yeah, so I have the Origins. So I have the original. I've had the original Sega Genesis since it came out. And I have a complete in-box copy of this. I have a pretty extensive Genesis collection. I wasn't one of those kind of anti-Nintendo people by any stretch. My Super Nintendo and original Nintendo... My biggest collection is my Atari collection. Let's just be clear on that. Because that's where I started, right? Pong, Pitfall, Centipede. But my Genesis collection, there were so many games that just didn't come out on any other console in the same way that Nintendo did it. Like Castlevania Bloodlines, which I would argue is one of the better Castlevania games. I would argue it's better than Dracula X, in fact. And you could only get it on Sega, and until the Castlevania Castlevania collection came out, that was the only way you could play it, was on a Sega. So I have my nice little complete in box version of that too. I owned a Sega Genesis as a kid, and this game had a not-for-resale branding on it. I never beat it because I made it as far as Spring Yard Zone Act 3. I've beat it multiple times, but I've beat this game several times. But this is my least favorite board in the whole game. I very much don't like it. It did have a not-for-resale sign. I mean, mine still has the not-for-resale sticker on it also. But I don't care. I wasn't going to resell it. So it never bothered me. And it wasn't like that they didn't get resold, but yeah, mine also had mine also has the not for resale sign on it, and we just were like, who cares? There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the spike that time. I knew it was gonna happen. Ugh. I need to hit that switch is the problem. Boop. There we go. Yeah, Spring Yard Zone, I just passed that. They put it in a weird way because in the level select, if you use the level select code, which is up, down, left, right, hold the A button, hit the start when Sonic is wagging his finger at you at the title screen. Starlight Zone is put before both Labyrinth Zone and... it's put before both before both Labyrinth Zone and Spring Yard Zone. I think rightfully so. I think this version should... I think this level should be right before... Honestly, I think this should be the level right either before Scrap Brain Zone, maybe right after, because Scrap Brain Zone actually directly annexes into the final boss fight. I get that, but... Yeah, this is, in terms of difficulty, I think this is the most difficult board. It's also the board that I think has the least cohesive. Because a lot of the challenge comes not from the obstacles, but from the movement. It's not because I can't hit the spears, it's because if water hits me, I'm immediately done. My movement speed is 1/3 of what it's supposed to be, and therefore I'm pretty well screwed. So that's why my least favorite. I first beat this game when I got the Mega Collection. This game is also how I first played 3 standalone as well as 3D Blast and Spinball. I thought it was being cool, which of course I wasn't necessarily. I got 3D Blast and Spinball. They came or 3D Blast. I don't remember Spinball, but I got 3D Blast for certain on the PC. I still have that PC copy because I thought this game is supposed to be. This game's supposed to be 3D. It's going to require something more powerful than what they're putting out. So I actually have it on PC. It should be noted that the zone has a 4th act, that being Scrap Brain Zone Act 3. Oh yeah, I know it. That's the reason that I don't like that one either, but that one's better than this because the objective on that one's just make your way back to the surface. And also the water's prettier. Instead of being green, it's a nice purple. This always reminded me kind of the screen... this always kind of reminds me of the screen of the columns, of the game columns. Okay, I'm not going to get another beep, so I better make it to the surface. There we go. Told you I wouldn't get another beep. Yeah, I've beat this game multiple times. First several times being, in the 90s, but I hadn't played it in a pretty darn long time, honestly. And so I thought, well, why not? Let's use this to test out some new equipment, and that's exactly what I've done. But we were using it originally I was using it to test out the Retron, and that sadly didn't do anywhere near what I had hoped it would. The minimum goal being just work. Okay. Okay, we're gonna try this again. We've got a couple of... I didn't need the extra bubble, but I wanted it. We're gonna balance. Boom. It's okay. I'm using the damage boost. I'm hoping to. I don't care. I just need one. Oh, but the world won't give me that, huh? I'm like, ah, gosh. Okay. We'll try again. I played all 3 versions of CD Blast. I played the Saturn version on an emulator. All 3 versions have different special stages. Yeah, I have. I do have the. I haven't really played it all the way through on it, but I do have a Sega Saturn, and I do have it on the Saturn. I believe I have it on. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I know I've at least played it. Well, I would say that, but then I'm sitting there going, maybe I haven't actually played that on the Saturn, because I'm saying I have a Saturn. I have to go back to my collection, because if I have done any of that, it's not been I mean, I haven't played the PC version in years. I probably haven't played the PC version since like 2000 and whatever. So I'll have to get back with you on that. The latest, the game that I most frequently played on the Saturn, for me at least, is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It only came out in Japan, so I have a thing to hack the Saturn from region locking, which I've been playing, which have been using. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. That's all I wanted. Okay. I'm debating on whether I want to get that Sega Genesis controller for the Nintendo Switch Online. I have a lot of retro game stores in the nearby city, and I've spoken. I'm friends with a lot of the owners. I've known them for decades, and I love Starlight Zone. Just so throw this out there. So that's the only reason that I actually prefer this order, is because the reward for Labyrinth Zone's Nightmare are the 3 boards that are Starlight Zone, which I find to be just the most charming in the whole game, and is also one of my favorite songs or themes. It's good, but I mean, $60, $70, in my opinion, is pretty steep for a controller we already had that they literally have only added a Bluetooth adapter to. That's where my issue with it came, and that's why I opted not to. Again, I have an adapter I think I paid like $7 for on a website I don't even remember. It was years ago, and it's just plugging in my actual almost 40-year-old controller into the Wii Wand, so that I can play. Again, you can hear the little, that's the loose, I'm not hitting any button, that's the loose of the D-pad, because again, Genesis D-pads weren't great. I'm bringing that up to the microphone for you to literally hear, for those of you who are into ASMR or whatever. I'm not, but I think that the clicky of the D-pad is a kind of really nice and nostalgic sound. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. It's just, it's really, for me, it's really pricey for what it is. I'm gonna hit, yeah, I knew I was gonna lose that. I never owned a Saturn NOR, nor a Dreamcast. Okay, I thought you capital. I have both. I have both actually hooked up right now. So I have a lot of, the thing about it is I have retro, I've been collecting for decades. I have these consoles all hooked up. The disc-based ones I don't have a big issue with. It's the cartridge-based ones, where pulling the cartridge out constantly has, you have issues with the pins. And for me, we're gonna go back because I want that extra life. Despawns the thing, so I can actually get it. There we go. You can trap yourself in there, though. Don't do that. I do have the Dreamcast also. The game I currently have in it is X-Men versus Street Fighter, I believe. Dreamcast was a cool system. I really liked it. My favorite games from that era were Jet Set Radio. I loved Crazy Taxi. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. For those of you who didn't know you could do that, you can. And you can actually zip, which is that you can teleport because the game doesn't know where to put you. I didn't do any of that correctly, so my apologies for showing you what could have been a cool trick and then ended up being a failure because it wasn't I didn't mean to do that. I wasn't on purpose trying to do that. Wait, so you've had that same Genesis controller for so long, then you currently must be in your late 30s or early mid 40s. This has been my controller for 34 years. 30... No. Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say, wait, that's wrong, but no, that's give or take a year. It's been my controller for give or take a year or two. It's been my controller for at least that long. I've been around. We'll put it this way: I've been around longer than than it seems like the primary YouTube demographic is. But that's okay. I still have fun with video games, and I will probably play them until I die. I'm nowhere near death, but I will probably... I have a daughter who is... I have a teenage daughter who's also enjoyed these games too, so... I brought her up... A lot of people say you brought her up right. She liked them. I brought her up with... She grew up playing, like, Metroid, because I was a nerd. So she did. She grew up playing the original Metroid games and stuff. She did end up playing these games though, for sure. We had fun taking turns playing these games when she was little, in fact. So I played Crazy Taxi for GameCube. Gina is my favorite character. No, that's perfectly fair. Crazy Taxi is a great game for any of them. Dreamcast is the I'm not going to call it the de facto system, but it's kind of the original system in that regard. Duck down, because I do believe you can actually get crushed by the corner there if you just catch it just wrong. And fun fact, this song was actually based off of a disco song that came out in the early 70s, I think. The Starlight Zone song itself, it was based on a song that came out in, I think, 71. It's not the exact same, but you can definitely, if you hear the original disco song, you will absolutely go, oh, I know what that is. I cannot remember for the life. Was it, maybe it was the Bee Gees? I think maybe it was the Bee Gees. Yeah, Crazy Taxi was super fun. JSRF, again, not JSRF, excuse me, JSR or JGR, Jet Grind Radio, Jet Set Radio, and then later in 02, Jet Set Radio Future, which I was a huge fan of also. And recently, what is it? I can't even now remember what it is. It's like something cyberfunk. I've played it and I can't even think of the name right now. Because I was mixing it with a rare GameCube game called Go-Go Hyper Grind. Oh, shoot. It's alright, I'll get him. What is the game I'm thinking of? Something cyberfunk. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, if you're a fan of those games at all for the Dreamcast and the Xbox, the original Xbox, I highly recommend that. If I could think of the name, I highly recommend picking up the cyberfunk game. It's really cool. It's definitely something that harkens to the JGR, JSRF era. I can't jump up there. I wanted to fall, but not on this. I guess I have the thing. I was too cautious. I have superpower, or super TV, but I didn't want to land on the spiky ball below the counterweight. There we go. And again, this was before you could actually hit down and pump. That didn't come until 2. So you actually had to hit down. You had to hit the opposite direction or down as you're going to get this. Starlight Zone, the rule is don't be at the very bottom level. which, if you're familiar with the map at all, is exactly where I was just there. That's why I did a bad. All right. Boop. Let's go ahead and hit him, and I'm gonna let him go. Ooh. Okay, I think I fouled the hitbox just there because I should have taken damage. This is also one of the cooler fights for Robotnik. There's no way. Because this one is using those little counterweight systems to take him down, which I always thought was a really cool concept. It is also probably one of the more difficult in terms of coordination, but it's really cool. See, I'll drop one, and then you can do one of two things. You can either use the counterweight to jump up and hit him yourself, or you can actually launch the counterweight back up at him. It's usually easier to do this, but whatever. It shouldn't detonate so long as I can... Uh-oh. Oh, okay, I got him with that one. I think this is one of the cooler fights, though. It's very satisfying to get launched up in the air by the little counterweights. And then to hit him with it is just really fun. When I say it's in terms of... Whoa! When I'm talking about in terms of coordination, you kind of have to watch where the spike balls are going, you have to watch whether they're ready to detonate, and you have to be aware of whether he's dropping one. So, like, this is going to let out little 4 fireballs. I'll get hit if I'm not cognizant of that. There we go. Look at that. The only Metroid and Castlevania games I have respectively played were Super for the SNES and Curse of Darkness for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, so I'm going to pause. Yeah, so Starlight is on the last chance to get the special... There's no way I'm going to do it. I tried. I got 3 of them. There are 7. There's no way. I think there's 7. I could be wrong. There's no way. Which is fine. I'll just get a screen at the end that says try again with him juggling the remaining, 4. As far as Metroid and Castlevania, I've played most of the Metroid games, all the way up to Metroid Dread, all the way back to the original Metroid. I've played Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission. What are the other ones they came out with for the Wii? The Metroid Prime games, of course. Metroid. What other Metroid games are there? There's Corrupt. There's Corrupt. Metroid Prime 3 or Metroid. Not Corrupt. What was I thinking of? But anyway. There is Corruption, but I'm trying to think of the other one. But anyway, I've played all of the Metroid games. Castlevania games, I am an avid fan of. I have played every Castlevania. I own every Castlevania game. Lords of Shadow, I have. Really, I wasn't paying attention to that stupid fire. I always do that. I never pay attention to those pipes. I'm okay with it. I just need to jump back into it. 6 Chaos Emeralds. Starting with 2, the total comes to 7. Okay, then, yeah. Which again, no worries for me. For me, the objective is just get to the end, because the pinball segments, and I call them the pinball segment. That's what it is. The pinball segments for me are just not. I really like the way that 2 did it a lot better with kind of the skill game of running around in circles and such. I hate the little turny things. I'll see if I can do it. It's just you have to. There it is. We'll just go this way. We'll play it like the eye catch does. The eye catch does this. For anybody who doesn't know, that's what you call the intro screen. That's what nowadays you don't. It's what you used to call the intro screen when they would have a demo playing. It was called the eye catch. And Scrap Brain Zone is one of the... This particular part of Scrap Brain Zone is one of the eye catch levels. Friends have told me I should play the Metroid Prime series, especially with Beyond just around the corner. I think Metroid Prime is good. If you're a fan, here's the thing. Are you a fan of first-person shooter style games? If you are, it's pretty good. I personally am a Metroidvania fan, which, for anybody who is unfamiliar with the term in general or my specific usage of it, what I'm talking about is games where you have an open world, effectively, 2-dimensional open world, and the objective is just to kind of go around that world and find things. They could be useful things, they could be useless things. In the case of Metroid, they're all essential. In the case of Castlevania, they're not. And I kind of like the not better, because it means that you can pass the game multiple different ways. Maybe you didn't get a weapon that was... I'm gonna fall. Maybe you didn't get a weapon that was the one you should have or would have wanted to have. Maybe the next time you play, you can go through the stronger weapon. Whereas Metroid, it's like, I had to have the screw attack. I had to get the upgraded missiles. I had to get the, you know, so there we go. I also think these little bears are adorable. They drop little bombs. That little blinky thing was a bomb. I think they're cute, though. Sadly, I'm not really into FPS games. I've played GoldenEye 007 for the 64. When that first came out, I had a buddy named Eric, and he had bought the system and a handful of games. And the first few games, I don't remember what exactly day one, but I remember the first few games that we played that he had gotten were GoldenEye 007. He had gotten obviously Mario 64, Pilot Wing 64, and Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. And we played I wanted to play Shadows of the Empire the most because he thought it was too hard and he would just give up. But we'd be done with, basically we'd be done with work and it would be like, all right, what are we going to do? We're done doing what we have to do. What do we want to do now? And so that was what had happened. That was where we played a lot of that. But GoldenEye, we could play together. James Bond games, another thing that I have just about all of. I was very, very partial. I mean, Bloodstone and the newer ones that came out in like 06 and stuff were pretty okay. I was partial in terms of, obviously, GoldenEye is huge, but not the Xbox PlayStation 2 one. I was very partial to like From Russia with Love and what was one of the other ones? Okay, well, just catch a couple of these. Difference between 1 and 100 is nothing. Except for, 100 actually gives you an extra life, so that's wrong. 1 and 99, the difference is really not much. My dad currently owns Shadows of the Empire, even as we speak. I have 2 copies. I still have my original copy, and I think I have his copy. His old copy, so. But it's really good. It's really fun. Did you mean your friend Eric had Super Mario 64 or Mario Kart? No, Super Mario 64. Yeah. Oh, shoot. There we go. Yeah. I think I what did I say? I said Mario 64, right? Mario 64, Super Mario 64, yeah. No, and honestly, we played much more of here's the thing. Super Mario or Mario Kart 64 is fine. It is not the superior kart racing game for the 64. That is easily Diddy Kong Racing. Uh-oh. That's okay, well, it's fine. That's alright. That's what I wanted to happen. Okay, this is where things get tricky, because it's just about keeping a ring. There we go. Go ahead and get this one to go off. There we are. It's fine. We'll take this back. There we are. Okay. Alright, there we go. My little panda friend there. He's not a panda, but we all know what we're doing. By we all, I mean I know what I'm doing. Kind of. I have passed this game many times, but I haven't passed this game in a long time. So I remember the gist of a lot of this. Some of it is still one at a time. Like, well, that was my fault. That was just absolutely my fault. We'll get those bombs to go off while I'm up here. I need a ring. Let's grab a couple of these real quick. Gotta be very careful. Bump him on the head. Bump him on the head. I really would like to see Diddy Kong Racing get added to NSO. I wish it could. Diddy Kong Racing is still a Rare property. Rare does Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong. Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong are still properties of Nintendo, but Rare owns Diddy Kong Racing, and Rare is owned by Microsoft. So until Microsoft decides that they're going to play nice with Nintendo, and they kind of have. I think this is probably the best music in the game. This is where that last one, because he's going to hit that and the floor is going to fall. Come on, Robotnik. Thank you, Ivo. What was I saying? Anyway, Diddy Kong Racing, until, I agree with you 100%, but until Microsoft wants to play friendly with Nintendo, I don't know if we're going to get that. There is, without spoiling a recent game that has come out, there is indication that they are Rare is kind of playing nice with Nintendo. But I'm not going to say anything more than that because that's only indicated by something that's fairly recent and would incur spoilers. I love Diddy Kong Racing. I have it complete in box and have had it since it came out again. We're going to use this because if you get him to throw one and then you pop off screen, it automatically despawns whatever ones he hasn't thrown because it assumes he has. So if you ever want to go past the headache of that, that's all you have to do is just trying to avoid doing that. It's fine. Again, if I fail, I'll just use the level select code and we'll select this board again. GoldenEye 007 Perfect Dark and the Banjo games were added to the Nintendo Switch Online. And Donkey Kong 64 has been leaked to get added as well. So those are all reason enough for DKR to get added. I would normally say maybe, but the problem with that, the truth behind that is that the Rare company was going to make Donkey Kong. Well, let's put this: Donkey Kong 64 is Nintendo's. It is a Nintendo Rare project, but as far as the assets, every asset in that game isn't unique to Rare. So in that case, it's the unique piece of Rare actually using pieces of something that Nintendo had made. So they wouldn't actually have any issue getting that put on there. I'm going to drown. It's the first time we drowned. That's okay, though. We'll use the board select and we'll just go back to it. The Banjo games are indication that they are playing nice, which is... I had a continue left. Nice. I'd say the Banjo games are probably the greatest indication. The Donkey Kong 64, even though it was a Rare property, Rare doesn't get to retain the rights to it because of all of the characters that they were using being getting trademarked by Nintendo. I think the extent of that were the Kremlins, but I think I could be wrong on this part. I do believe that Rare decided to turn over the Kremlins to Nintendo. I didn't wait for it to all despawn. If that's not the case, then that would be good. The other problem, though, is there are other entangled properties. So there was supposed to be a new Perfect Dark that came out, for example, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was announced last year, and they canceled the project. So I think that's probably an attempt to try and maintain some form of relevance while they determine whether or not they're going to make another Perfect Dark game. Which I think is awesome because I love the Perfect Dark games, just to be transparent about that. But when it came to... There we go. when it comes to Diddy Kong Racing, there are a lot of characters that are all just rare properties for Tip Top, which is Banjo-Kazooie. You've also got Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie, which they have already permitted. You have what's the other? Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is another Nintendo property. So it's like, it's okay. I just need to hit this before I die. There we go. It was a win-win for me. Either I die and I respawn there, or I get the air bubble. It wouldn't have mattered. So I guess it shouldn't be as complicated as it seems to be, but it is currently. But we do have some indication that is outside of that purview. That should have been long enough. Yeah. That says that they are probably going to play nice, but I would assume not for several years. That having been said, I have several Nintendo 64s, so I will absolutely play Donkey Kong Country on here. Not Donkey Kong Country, excuse me. Diddy Kong Racing on here at some point in time. That game I have complete in box. I love that game. It's been a favorite of mine for a long time. Let's hit the bar. Did I do it? Yeah, we got it. Okay, I gotta get out of the way. Bubbles take longer to spawn in this one also than they did in the green one, so you have slightly more sparse air pockets. I knew that was going to happen. That was just poor timing on my part. We're good. We have the air bubbles, the actual ones that pop out are less frequent. Gosh, I hate it when I do that. They're less frequent. That's what I meant to say. I don't blame this game for a lot. I do blame it for some. I blame myself in cases like that, though, because that was absolutely me just not paying attention. A Greek friend of mine happens to own a whopping 8 Nintendo 64 consoles, including the entire Fantastic Six. That's pretty cool. I think we have 4. We have 2 gray, or the black gray ones. We have 1 Pikachu one. We have 1 gold Ocarina of Time Toys R Us Special Edition one. And I think that's all the ones we have. I'm glitched out. I couldn't move. That's okay. I'm all right. I was just I couldn't. Oh my god! Hold on one second here. I'm gonna have to pause this 1 second. I'm gonna move this over to the BRB screen. Okay. Let's go ahead and fade that out. Goodness sake. Sorry about that. Did your I have to start the this last one over. Did your Pikachu console come bundled with Hey You Pikachu? Yes, and a microphone attachment, which I don't know anything about Pokemon. Well, that's not technically true. I know Pikachu is a Pokemon. That's about it. I don't really know anything about I've played Pokemon on this channel a couple of times with my wife. She knows about Pokemon. I don't know anything about them. So you watch me win some of these random games she's had me play with her through what is essentially luck and the power of whatever the name of the one that bends spoons is. You'll see me. That's pretty well how I win. Is I pick the one that bends spoons because, and I picked that one because the reference I get for anybody who doesn't get the reference, that Pokemon is a reference to a real life man named Uri Geller, who was a man who made a good amount of money in the 70s. You got a game over and use the level select as a result. Yeah. I had the technical issue I had was that the Wiimote had died, and that was my controller is plugged into the Wiimote, but without the Wiimote, it can't function. So I died. So I just grabbed another one. Not a big deal. If it hadn't have died, I might have still had to do that, but I don't think so. But yeah, I don't know really much anything about Pokemon. But anyway, that character, the spoon bending one, I can't remember what his name is. But anyway, he's a reference to a guy named Uri Geller, which is a man who made a pretty comfortable living in the 1970s by convincing everybody that he was telekinetic. And his primary trick for telekinesis was to bend spoons with his mind, quote unquote. And he was debunked by a guy named James Randi, or the Great Randy. He was another magician, and he would show how he could bend a spoon with his mind, but that it was just a trick. So it's a huge feud that went on for the longest time. Randy died a couple of years ago, 2020 maybe, 2021. He was like 98 or something like that. So he was, So that's what that character is a reference to, except for I guess that character actually can bend the spoons, so it's not charlatanism. Really fun actual real life story though. If you didn't know about Uri Geller, and that was probably a reference to that, then now you do. And the only reason that I do know that is not a Pokemon reason; it's a real life history reason. Yeah, got my mustache tangled in the shock filter for the microphone. Good lord. I've never done that before. This is a good microphone. It's not like this is a headset mic. So why I got my beard caught into it, I don't know. I don't know also why I didn't just wait to jump like I... Oh, why did that... Oh, okay, I thought it despawned. It didn't. I'll probably die here, but it's okay. I didn't. I did. That's alright. I thought I was going to be able to get in the pixel below his foot. I didn't. There we go. One thing you might notice too is this is still very much Scrap Brain Zone, even though it's technically very aesthetically similar to Labyrinth Zone. It is still the Scrap Brain Zone music. And again, I like the purple water better. Okay. Just wait here for him to throw all that. And see if we can get swept away there. If I can find another, I don't think there is one, but if I can find another little thing here, hold on. There we go. We're in a ball, so we're fine. We'll let this go. That's time. Okay. There we go. Now we're, well, it's always to speak too soon. There's the checkpoint we're looking for there. Oh, I didn't pay attention to the spike right there. We'll go ahead and jump and hit this guy and grab these rings. Grab that bubble. This guy's already angry. I love the little guys that are angry. I like the green ones better because they don't throw the things at you. But I think the little red ones are kind of adorable once they've already thrown the whole thing at you, and then they're just kind of sitting there angrily. These little angry nubs of a bad guy. It's okay. Give me a bubble, please. That's it. Tense for you, wasn't it? It seems like air, again, it takes longer for them to produce a bubble, and it seems like the air that you get doesn't take as long. Headcanon wise, it's probably similar to like Banjo-Kazooie, where you just get oil, water, or whatever. So this, I think, is the best song of the game personally. This is just a personal opinion, and I do play safe. He can't hit you when you're over here, except for with the Electro Balls. If you restart this level, also, you only ever get... You never get any rings. It doesn't matter, even if you've collected rings, you don't get it. But I like this song. I think this is a great boss theme. The third boss theme is also really great. This is a one of patience. The thing is, again, it's just random, but he can't smash. This is the only space where he technically can't smash you. He can hit you with the Electro Balls. He can't smash you. So the best strategy is to play it safe and slow. He never takes 10 minutes to spawn in the ones you need to hit him in. So you never exhaust the full 10 minutes on the board. I say that. I've never exhausted the 10 minutes. In playing this game for as many decades as I have, I've never exhausted the time on the board waiting for him to come into position. Like I said, I like this theme. I guess technically, I've never really tried it. I guess you could technically be on the very leftmost, but I don't know if the Sonic character sprite is thin enough to not get hit over there. And it does allow you far less maneuverability when it comes to jumping in between these electrical things and then getting to a safe spot before the crushers come. So I've hit him, 3 or 4 times, and you'll notice he doesn't know, like, if the game had done a thing where it made it so that you had to go into the middle, then it would be like, okay, this is going to be a hard fight. But this boss fight is actually not very hard for this exact reason. You can literally just stay here, wait for him to keep being in the one nearest you, and then hit him, and it's the easiest way to fight the fight. If you're speedrunning, probably not ideal, but if you're not speedrunning, which I'm not, Very easy. And then you have this little thing, which is him trying to escape. And you can actually let him escape, or you can hit it and let it crash, which I love. It's a little slow. I love that it's a little slow crash. It's like a nah. And then we get this little cool outro, and we're gonna one of the other. This again has great music. We're gonna get one of the other awesome themes, which is the victory theme here for when the credits go. I can't do I was gonna do a Sonic voice there. I can't. I don't have the ability. So we passed all of Sonic. I did use, because of a technical issue, I did use level select, but I did pass all of the levels fair and square, and had I not had the technical issue, I wouldn't have had to have used the level select. So I'm not going to count that as any sort of... I'm not going to count that as a major detractor for me. If you're a purist and you're like, oh, you didn't get through it okay, that's fine. I'm not a purist, so I don't really... doesn't make a difference to me. But I did pass each of the levels, even though I'm always very tempted to skip the Act 3 Labyrinth board. I did go ahead and pass it, so legitimately, so you could see it. But I did use the level select code once the batteries had their issue. So, GG, thank you. I appreciate you for coming in and talking with me. By the way, Blue Hedgehog Man 17. I'm curious as to what the 17 is. The 17. Is the 17 an important year for you? Is it an age? Is it a... You don't have to disclose if you don't want to. Is it a football number if you're, that? Is it a... I know people put like the year of their firstborn or something like that, so it's like, it could be any of those. I was just curious. Or it could just be a random number that you decided that you liked. That's also possible. But nonetheless, welcome in. I do, so being the Retro Room, I've been playing these types of games for a long time. Doesn't mean I'm good at all of them. I never make that claim. Doing something for a long time. I want to put this is doing something, anything. Doing something, anything, for a long time does not mean you're good at it. It just means you've done it for a long time. Doing something for a long time the wrong way is still doing something for a long time. So he should be shuffling 3, right? Oh, no, because I used the level select, so he's actually shuffling all 6. Juggling all 6, I mean. I did get 3 of them. We saw the 3 that I got. If you do get all of them, you do get a message that doesn't say try again, where he's not juggling all the Chaos Emeralds, because kind of in the end, it's like he won. But anyway, I thought it was pretty... Honestly, I had fun playing this again. It was good to get to test out the equipment. It was really fun. I knew the equipment was going to work. Some of the equipment was going to work well. What was it? What was it say? Like, I knew the microphone and everything was going to work because it's the same microphone I've been using for 10 years almost now. But getting the equipment and getting to play the retro game again, it was just really refreshing to finally find something that actually worked. And I'm very happy that it did. I enjoy playing retro. I know currently I'm in the middle of playing a new game. A game that came out in 2023, and I enjoy that just because I've enjoyed Star Wars. I am excited to play either retro or a retro-esque game probably after that. Actually, I think we've agreed to the Outer Wilds, which I've not really played all the way through, and then I think after that we've agreed to just kind of use your pick, so why not? Dun 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 dun. Blue Hedgehog is because I'm indeed a Sonic fan, man. It's because my gender is indeed male. And I wanted to come up with a number to add to my username, and 17 was the number I went with. Fair enough. I'm actually 34, and my dad is 53. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Not bad. I usually, if I pick a number, I've always been partial to 13, but I very fortunate I didn't have to do that. So, well, I'm glad that you're a Sonic. I don't believe, this is a personal opinion, I don't think there are a lot of. I'll go ahead and move it to the ending screen just so that I'm not sitting here with Sonic music blaring. We'll do that. We'll turn up some nice lo-fi. There we are. I was going to say, I don't think that Sonic Sorry, 35. My birthday was last month. Well, happy belated birthday. Very nice. I don't think Sonic gets a lot of love. I don't think Sonic gets a lot of love. I think a lot of people are Mario and Donkey Kong fans, and don't get me wrong, so am I. I've been playing those games forever and a day. But Sonic just doesn't get a lot of love. And there are a lot of games that I grew up with that I don't think get a lot of love, but I also don't think a lot of people are super interested in it. I've talked multiple times on this channel where, my first console was a Pong console, a Telstar, these little Telstar Pong consoles, and where my first major just love of games came from an Atari 2600, specifically the game Pitfall, although I was a very avid Centipede player, like a huge Centipede player. And I love those games. Those are the games that I started off playing, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be super... I'm looking at my original Pitfall card. I have it setting up on a shelf in this room, where I have this... I'm looking at my original Pitfall cartridge from all those decades ago, and it's like... But people, people don't do that anymore. So it's kind of like the Marios, the Donkey Kongs, the Sonic, the Hedgehogs that get the attention and the notoriety and all that kind of good stuff. And to some extent, I think that's good. Because those are, I think, the apex of video gaming. In all honesty, I'm not as much... There are great games. I would be very clear about this. Great games. But I'm not the largest fan of modern gaming. I have games that I love that are modern. The Witcher 3, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, now God of War Ragnarok, a lot of those games. But then for every one of those good games, there are 50, not 10 anymore, but 50 that I just don't care about. For every Claire Obscure, there are 50 cash grab, EA, Call of Duty... you don't own your game. Here's your license to play what we are allowing you to games. And with retro, there was definitely a lot of shovelware. Let's be very clear about that. I've been collecting games for decades. I have the good games, but I have a ton of the shovelware. It did seem more like it was a kind of 10-to-1 ratio, not a 50-to-1 ratio. We had Earthbound, we had 3 Donkey Kong countries, we had Sonic the Hedgehog, we had 3 of them, with the Sonic and Knuckles expansion cart, which I have. I love it. We had several great Castlevanias. I would argue 2 is even good. So 1, 2, 3, Bloodlines, Dracula X. We had... I still think Dracula X is good. We had Earthbound. We had the Final Fantasy games, 1 and 3 American, which were fantastic. We had Chrono Trigger. We had The Legend of Zelda. Moving back over to the Sega Genesis console, we had Earthworm Jim.